Predator Badlands is a huge box office success. It looks like it's vastly outperforming what people were expecting, which we're going to get into in just a moment. Now, what does this mean in the global context of cinema and all that? It still looks like the box office is dying overall, but Predator Badlands actually, because of the budget it had, did something pretty well. And that's maybe a formula that Hollywood needs to get onto going forward, because these giant bloated budgets that they have for everything set expectations at a level where it gets absolutely crazy. And it seems like Sci-Fi just needs to dial things back. Now let's get into the news in just a moment as we talk about all things sci-fi. This is your Real Sci-Fi News. I appreciate you being here, my friends. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We're growing nicely on the channel and it needs to continue, which I appreciate. But I'm also a sci-fi writer, and that's what I do primarily here. And of course, I try to get some eyeballs on the books because of what we do. If you're a reader, I've got a full trilogy that came out, and it's on Fund My Comic right now. Back this today, guys. It is a pre-order for the campaign right now, and we're trying to, of course, boost this up. I like science fiction like it was in the 70s or prior. It was a little less dark. Even the original Predator movie wasn't all that dark if you look at it. It was much more an action movie, right? And so I'm trying to bring things back to what it was before, exploring strange new worlds, having a sense of wonder, having a real sense of heroism to the characters, something that modern cinema misses, including Predator Badlands, to be honest. You can see my review yesterday. This is something I've been working on for a couple of years. It's like my baby, and it is a wonderful, wonderful sci-fi trilogy for those who read. So if you want to support our channel, do anything on that level, this is a great spot to do so. It's in the description below. I appreciate you guys for being here and reading. So like I said, Predator Badlands is a huge success. It had an $80 million global opening for the film, which was a little shocking, about double exactly what it was on the domestic. And that's kind of what Hollywood typically looks for. It has to double that figure or more to be a success globally. We saw a problem kind of on the Superman level where it didn't get that, and that actually propelled it to a little bit of a less sort of box office success on that level. Now, this is a $100 million budget movie, right? And so if it had opening weekend one, $80 million, well, guess what? They are in really, really good shape for this movie, performing pretty well. It's not like a slamming huge, win. It's not like it made $200 million and just swept its budget out and like everybody's raving about it. But everybody generally likes the movie overall. They thought it was decent. Like I said, you could see my review yesterday on that. I did a full analysis of it. And this is something that beats any domestic debut so far. But there's a caveat to that. So let's get into the Predator franchise as a whole, because this is not like your big franchise. Even though it's a name that a lot of people recognize, it is a rated R movie in the original version. And so there's like a level that it really didn't achieve success like a Star Wars, a Star Trek, a Marvel, or anything like that. This is really a B movie franchise. And even the first one really is a B movie if you kind of look at it on its entire whole as well. Really good B movie, but it's a B movie nonetheless. And so that's what they produced here with Predator Badlands. I think they went in and the expectations was it's a B movie, and so people went out of there with it's a B movie and they had a lot of fun with it, and that helped the box office go pretty well. Now, on the level of everything else out there, the critics have it at an 85 right now, and the tomato meter for the audience, for the verified ratings, have it at a 95%. Now, I always look at the non-verified ratings because, they like to curate things and all that. But there are 5,000 plus ratings, and it looks like people still, it's down to 93%. It's just 2% off. It's about the same, whether it's verified or not. And this is a good sign that people generally just like this film. So it was an odd choice. Trachtenberg made Predator the protagonist. It was about sympathizing with the Predator, which is a crazy thing if you look at the franchise. I mean, the Predator was just like this vicious killer who's like a mystery, and now that's not the case. All the mysteries peeled back. This is something completely different. Didn't feel like so much a Predator film as it felt like a just sci-fi film that happened to have a Predator skin on it, and that is something that, of course, is going to upset a few people, but not enough to, of course, wreck what was going on with the box office. So if you look at things, the original 1987 Predator had 89.3 million worldwide in its box office, and this is, back then, that's quite a bit adjusted for inflation. It had a $15 million budget, so the budget was a tenth of what this was, and it made back 10 times its budget. Now that's a huge hit, right? This was a big deal. The second one, Predator 2, did $57 million on a $35 million budget. Now that's double what it was, but that was a huge flop from 10 to 1, right? People expect a second one to do more. Now, there were problems with it, right? I mean, the setting was different. Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't in it. It was a completely different cast. So it's like, it's not the sequel that we were looking for on that level. It was like, this is really silly to do that, right? Now, the property came back in 2004 with Alien versus Predator. Now, the Alien films have fared better through Alien 1, 2, and 3. And so when they did Alien versus Predator, of course, they did video games of this before. People were excited for this. And it had $177 million on a $60 million budget, a sweeping success on that. And people enjoyed that movie for the most part. Now, Alien versus Predator Requiem, the second one, doubled down on this. That did a little less, $130 million on a $40 million budget. Now, the budget was less, and so the proportionate reward was less, but it was about the same, a 3-to-1 margin for each of these, right? So next, we get into 2010, and Predator 2010 with Predators had a $127 million on a $40 million budget. Now, this is looking like it's going to sweep way past that, but it's not going to get, again, this is almost a 3-to-1 margin of budget to box office. And I think they're not going to end up with that here. I think we're going to end up with a maybe 2-to-1 budget of budget to box office, but it's a little different world in 2025 than we had before. Naturally, Predator 2018, the worst out of all of them, to be honest, this was a disaster, was a 2-to-1 margin in 2018, $160 million on an $88 million budget. Now we've got Prey, which came out, and a lot of people didn't like this because it was very much a female girl boss movie, right? And that was something that, again, doesn't play well with an action crowd. But at the same time, like Hulu, because people wanted to see this, and there wasn't a lot going on at the time in 2022. This was right after the pandemic, where people are still watching a lot on streaming and really binging stuff. This did really well. It was Hulu's most watched movie ever at the time, and that is something that was pretty big for the network. So Dan Trachtenberg got a green light to actually do another movie, which is what happened here. And instead of following up on that, he just moved in a completely different direction. I think he just understood that that's its own thing. Let's check out something right here. And I am going to ignore Predator Killers of Killers a little bit, which is a kind of an animated deal that came out earlier this year. They put that out as a promotional thing for this, is what I assume. So naturally, we have this $40 million domestic opening for Predator Badlands right here. Now, this surpasses Alien versus Predator to make it the number one highest grossing opening weekend of all time. But that's the caveat on that is not adjusting for inflation. Adjusting for inflation, Alien versus Predator absolutely destroys this. But again, Alien's kind of a bigger property than this. So this opened well ahead of what they predicted, which was $25 million. So it almost doubled what they were expecting to come out of the film for its opening weekend. Now, the global total is pretty big. It's $80 million overall, and it's a strong theatrical run probably coming out of this. If it goes to 50%, which is pretty solid for movies that people mostly like, next week, if it does better than that, obviously it's even better. They're going to get another $40 million, so it's going to be at $120 million week 2, probably up to about $160 million week 3, probably getting close to $180 million week 4, and that's where I'm going to guess it'll end at. And that's pretty good. And for a $100 million budget, I think they're going to do pretty well on this. Now, why is something that's going to make $180 million, why is that more successful than a Superman that made $600 and something million? And it just comes down to the budget. The budget of that plus the marketing expenses of that movie really needed to make $800, $900, maybe even $1 billion to be a successful movie, which is absolutely crazy. Now, this is what Marvel and Disney really started with the way that they were doing things, these really bloated budgets in order to try to get an audience out there. So while, yes, a lot more people are seeing Superman, while that has a lot of legs to it, because it died in the international box office, it didn't really reach a level where it did much other than maybe break even for the film, or maybe even a little less than that. So this ends up being a bigger success and bigger profitability, even though less people are watching it, which is an interesting way that Hollywood works with its Hollywood dynamic at this point. So this is where we are at. It's doing pretty well. Most people pretty much like it. There's a few YouTube critics who are panning it out there as well. I did my review. It's very interesting. I actually A/B tested the review just for how YouTube works, and I'm going to show you this in a second. If you look at my thumbnail and the like, YouTube is very sensational in the way that it likes to say things. So I put a big thumbnail that said she ruined the film with her happy face on there. And I put she ruined Predator Badlands with this awful trope. Now, my review is actually pretty positive of the movie. And and YouTube actually allows you to A/B test ones at the same time. I actually tested another one that said a pro sci-fi writer reviews honest review of Predator Badlands. And I put it up there. And I had a much more neutral thumbnail with the Predator on it instead. Do you know what happened with that? 70% of people clicked on this one. Only 30% of people clicked on that one. As a result, the review, like just doing it like this sensationalistically made it much more clicked upon and actually made the video a success because we did this. Now, like I said, I overall was like mostly positive about it. I think it's a B movie. I think it's decent. I think it's good, not great. And yes, her elements of it were obnoxious, and I actually would prefer the film to not have her in it. I'll maybe do a comparison of the original Predator to this one tomorrow because I just rewatched the original Predator last night and really enjoyed it. It holds up, to be honest. But it's interesting just how these systems work. It's interesting how the box office systems work, and I hope that was good information for you guys. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Check out my Valiant Frontiers. This is my sci-fi if you like my thoughts on writing and more. And if you like my YouTube channel, support us here, guys. I really appreciate you being here. We'll be back soon.